What do you think about the birth trauma? Is that a very important thing in all our lives?
I think a bigger trauma is conception trauma. Can I illustrate to you what happens at conception? I know that might sound funny to you, but let's describe it. Here's your mother and your father. They have a heap of emotions and traumatic events and feelings, beliefs. And so forth, that are out of harmony with love, truth and humility. Right? Because most parents haven't released their emotional condition out of harmony with love, truth and humility before they give birth or before they even conceive a child, both of these parents have huge amounts of emotion in them already. Now, the little soul who starts in the spirit world, who splits in half and incarnates, when these two conceive the bodies, there's two bodies, remember, there's the spirit body and the material body or the physical body, spirit body, for this half of the soul to connect to. Right. At the moment that this soul connects to those bodies, it starts absorbing the emotional condition of its environment at the very moment that it connects. So from that moment, it is now absorbing every single unfelt emotion in the parents. Every single one. That's what I call traumatic. That's a lot of trauma. This is the reason why, by the time we are born, we are often already in a lot of trauma. So now coming out of the birth canal, there's already a lot of trauma in us that the birth itself triggers by the physical process. Do you understand? And so this is why we have some birth trauma as a result, because there's already a soul has got all of these unfelt emotions in it from its environment before it even begins. Now then, if you add to that what happens shortly after birth, usually it gets picked up by the legs, yes, belted to get it going, as the saying goes. Now it's also got physical pain associated with this trauma. The very first experience almost of the child is a reflection of the trauma it's already absorbed from its parents. It's a reinforcement of the trauma. It knows now it has something to be afraid of. Right? Do you understand? So to me, the most traumatic experience that you can experience at the moment on the planet is your own incarnation. Then after that, it just is potluck as to what happens in terms of traumatic experiences, because it depends heavily on what the parents have addressed or dealt with as to what kind of traumatic experiences your soul will attract after that point. So one of the best gifts you could ever give to your child is to work through these unfelt emotions before you have a child. Because the more you work through them, and even, by the way, if the child's already in the womb, it's best to work through the emotion, because the child then is relieved of the emotion. Yes? There is no danger of doing that to the child. So the key is to allow the process to occur. There is less impact upon the child. When there's less impact upon the child is definitely going to arrive on earth, in the physical, in a state that is better than it would have been if we had not addressed the emotions. But this process of trauma that occurs through incarnation does not even need to occur. The way God designed it was that it originally did not occur, because you think about it. If these parents have only emotions and feelings and beliefs that are harmonious with love, truth, and humility, and that's the only thing they have within them, what will the child absorb? It can only absorb what is within its environment. It will absorb the emotions of love, truth and humility automatically. It will absorb, and it will be born completely calm. It will be born with perhaps even a smile on its face. It will be it'll become alive, like breathing, naturally, without any assistance. It will actually want to be here. Right? And the reason why is because the parents would be in the state. Now that is, the whole of humanity is potentially able to be in this state. And this is what I feel is one of the most sad things. In the first century I said, the sins of the parents are put upon the children generation after generation. Down to the third and fourth generations even, you often see the sins of the great-grandparents brought down. And what I meant by that is the emotional condition of the parents that are out of harmony with love, truth and humility cause an impact upon as soon as we're conceived, the impact is automatically brought upon the next generation. It has an instant impact upon the next generation. So if this parents here actually did address their emotions and actually became in harmony with love, truth and humility and in harmony with God completely, this child would not experience any negative event that were created by the parents. It would have a law of attraction that was perfectly attracting only loving and truth-based events. It would not attract any sad or other event because the soul of the child is pristine. It can't attract any other event. And therefore, whatever happens to the child through its own life would now completely be its own actions or its own desires that create those actions. It wouldn't be the desires of the parents or the unfelt emotions of the parent. Now you think about if you had a start like that. We'd all be pretty amazing if we had a start like that, right? But unfortunately none of us have had a start like that, and this is why we have to undo the damage if we want to get to be like that. The truth is you can get to be pristine while you're on earth, but it requires going through this process of reversing the impact of those emotions upon your soul.